that just helps a lot where things are running smooth and you guys have a really awesome support team. And the coolest thing about Thinkrr is you guys have done a great job on the system and things barely break. Not even barely, I haven't really encountered any breaking yet. And that's when we were like, shoot, this type of system we've built, man, it's taken us like at least 10 days to onboard one new client. And if this guy wants 100, pretty much means my whole next year is gonna be spent just on this one client, getting them to go live. And that's also, again, one of the reasons that we really like Thinkrr. The ability to, number one, directly work inside CRM is awesome, how it syncs up. And then also how easy it is to make, right? A lot of it is just like copy paste something from here to there and essentially you're done. In the last week alone, we've onboarded 40 clients.
Wow.
So it's a lot. And, we just went in and got a bunch of minutes from you guys. And I like how easy it is, even like the way you guys communicate, open tickets and stuff is very awesome too. I can just text my account representative, which is Erica, or I can also just email you guys, or I can also just hop in the meeting, like whatever way works for me,
Yeah.
I like how you guys are open to like whatever the customer is easy for them. They also have thousands of records of forms that people have submitted on their apartment website that never got reached out to. So we went and we pulled all that data. We made an outbound agent and we had the agent call those leads. Last month, the agent made around 4,000 calls, out of which it got, I think, sort of blanking out, but it got the pickup rate was around like 20%. But if you do that by revenue generated, it was coming out to $366,000 generated from that one campaign of 4,000 outbound calls. Speed to lead is really important.
Oh yeah.
One of the coolest things about voice AI is the speed to lead is immediate, like literally immediate. So while they're feeling whatever they're feeling, you can get the information you need and push them to the place where they need to go before they like lose their interest, And when I saw the revenue generated from one asset just off of 4,000 calls, I was like, okay, let's get this show on the road. Immediately when we shared that report with our client too, we had the CEO personally call us and he was like, look, I don't know what you're doing. I don't care what anyone is working with you on, but I need all of my assets live on this system yesterday. But yeah, it's super exciting, man. It's really cool to see the tool you guys have built as well. It's made my life a lot easier. This whole thing became something I don't have to worry about anymore. And, I like how communicative you guys are, how helpful you guys are. Some companies, like you're always a little scared where you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen with this or, with XYZ. But with you guys, well, I do know why, but I really have confidence within the company. He'll get me whatever I need pretty quick, help me troubleshoot my problems, and pretty much get me back up and running within like 20-30 minutes. Then it just sells itself. That's the type of system I want to personally build, where I'm not selling the system. The system is so good that it just sells itself. All I need to do is let you see it.
Right.
I usually don't even ask people if they want me to make them a voice AI. I just make it and I send them the number. I'm like, hey, call this number. And they call it and they talk to it. And I never put in, when I make them call it, I don't put in the script that it's AI so it doesn't tell. Because I want to see, will the client be able to figure out? And then it's sort of like, I like to frame it like a magic trick. That's what voice AI is right now. It's like a magic trick. How easy it is to set up and use, to be honest. It's super easy, to integrate, to set up, to get it going. So I would say that honestly is my favorite thing. And also the support. I really, really enjoy your guys' support teams. I've had a bunch of products I've worked on in the past, and I'm not saying Thinkrr is not a big company, but some like big companies like Twilio, N8N, it's very hard to get attention from these folks in the sense of, I need help, can you help me? And you have to go and learn it from like YouTube and the internet and ChatGPT. Versus with Thinkrr, I really like how close the community is. There's a lot of people within the space that talk to each other and help each other out. And on top of that, you guys have a really good support team that's always available and super helpful. In just the last 25 days I've been here, I've seen a bunch of cool updates that you guys have done. I just got an email this morning that, hey, you don't even need to make the script anymore. You can just talk to the inbound AI and it makes the script by talking to you.
Hey everybody, today I'm excited to chat with Ramiz. He's been using Thinkrr Voice AI not only to grow his own business, but also create lots and lots of wins and success stories for his clients. So we're going to talk about some of the results that he's seen and what he likes most about Thinkrr and some tips for anybody who wants to really succeed with Voice AI. So Ramiz, thanks for coming on the member spotlight.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you guys for having me. Super excited.
So can you tell a little bit or share a little bit about your business and what you do?
Yeah, definitely. So I have a company called Client Harbor. We are an AI consultation company. So we provide consultations as well as implementation and management for all of our clients. Right now, we have roughly 160-ish clients. We've been in the AI space for 2 years now. However, we've been in the workflows, automations, systems space for roughly a decade now. So we've been doing, automation systems for quite some time. Um,
Yeah, you have quite the portfolio there. Now, are you implementing voice AI into like all those existing customers?
Yeah, yeah. So that's the goal. Essentially, when we had started with voice AI, it was all internal at first, and we were only using it for ourselves. Because voice AI, even right now, it's still one of those uh, technologies that is kind of new, especially in the AI space. Like you had chatbots and conversational texting AI and stuff come out quite before than the voice AI. And even if there was some voice AI at that point, it sounded just like a robocall or
Hmm.
voicemail drop. So it wouldn't really be something that attracted clients that much. We initially, built out our own voice AI. We have like a habit of trying to build everything ourselves. And the reason is we feel like, we get to learn a lot when we do that. So it helps us when we take existing tools and pair them together or make them all work. We have a different level of data point to sort of see, what do we like, what do we not like, how much more difficult is X, Y from Z, and pretty much push the envelope forward.
Now, were you facing any challenges like before you came across Thinker using like multiple tech stacks or anything like that?
Yeah, man, it was honestly a lot to manage. We had like our own server, we had our own N8N as well, and then we had a lot of developers that would have to manage everything, right? And then another pain in the ass was Twilio. You got to apply for separate A2P and 10DLC for every account, and then, you make a certain amount of calls, they start flagging you, and then you got to keep doing a back and forth with them. And then the way we were operating is we had, sort of like an agency level Twilio account and we had sub accounts on there. So even if like a sub account got affected, it wouldn't affect the whole agency, but it would just throw us off and take too much time, as well as like hours, like employee hours to resolve a lot of those issues. And when we found Thinkrr, the way we found Thinkrr is very funny. We were again going through one of the disputes that we are always having with Twilio. We're like a high volume customer, so we really make outbound calls. We don't do a lot, but we like to do at least 100 per account. And then with Twilio, it just became super annoying because we just kept having to provide them the opt-in information. So, like if it's not your own business, then you have to go get that data from your client. And then it makes like a break in the process where it's like, hey, I'm running your campaign, but it's paused right now. Can you give me the opt-in data? They give it to you, you submit it, they approve it, then you start running it again. A month later, again, they're like, I need the opt-in data. Then again, it's paused. You go back to them, you ask them for the same thing, and they have to then go ask someone from their team to get you that thing. It becomes like this whole game of, back and forth and inefficiency. That makes it hard to, run a business and really automate it when you constantly have to deal with something like that. And then additionally, when you make something yourself, you got to manage it and work on it. So anytime something would break, it's like, oh, this broke, let's fix this. It's like every day you're waking up to like 100 fires and you got to put them all out, right? And the coolest thing about Thinker is you guys have done a great job on the system and things barely break. Not even barely. I haven't really encountered any breaking yet. And I've been doing a lot of stuff in there. So I'm pretty sure if I can't break it, other people can't break it either. But that just helps a lot where things are running smooth and you guys have a really awesome support team. My account manager, Erica, she's great. And I have pretty good relationship with the folks that do the daily thinker calls. I believe it's Emma then Rabia.
Yep.
They're both extremely awesome, super helpful. And so is that call. I love the fact that there's a daily 1 hour call that you can just jump into, sort of office hours.
So like
So
with all the like from the then and now, so it sounds like a lot of the overhead, the back and forth, the waking up to fires has been kind of put out by now with Thinker. Does that sound about right?
yeah, that sounds 100% right.
Now, in terms of scalability, and I want to dig into the business to help other people as well that are going to be listening to this. Like in terms of scalability, where do you think you're going to be taking this with like voice AI as a core offer?
So ever since we found you guys, we have a few clients, right, that have multiple businesses.
Hmm.
And we were actually stuck in a scalability place where we had clients that wanted voice AI and also clients that, which is new clients. And then we also had existing clients that were like, hey, like a lot of the people we deal with are in real estate. So we had a lot of people that own properties, right? And they do asset management as well. So they might not own it, but they're managing it for someone. And all of those folks at every property, they've got leasing teams. The goal of the leasing team is to get the apartments filled up and, generate more occupancy, more NOI, so they can make more money and everyone, their investors can make, you know how it goes. Uh,
Hmm.
so we had a lot of folks that were like, man, this is working great. I want you to do this for all 100 of my properties. And that's when we were like, shoot, this type of system we've built, man, it's taken us like at least 10 days to onboard one new client. And if this guy wants 100, pretty much means my whole next year is going to be spent just on this one client, getting them to go live. And that's also, again, one of the reasons that we really like Thinkrr. The ability to, number one, directly work inside CRM is awesome, how it syncs up. And then also how easy it is to make, right? A lot of it is just like copy paste something from here to there, and essentially you're done.
So how long would you say, like with the 10 days as the before, like now if you had to onboard somebody, how long would it take you now?
I mean, believe it or not, before the thing that would take us the most least amount of time was making the script. And then on the back end is what took us the longest time. But it's so easy with Thinker that the thing that takes the most time now is making the script. Everything else is just like pretty quick, man. So like if I'll give you an example, in the last week alone, we've onboarded 40 clients.
Wow.
So it's a lot. And, we just went in and got a bunch of minutes from you guys. And I like how easy it is, even like the way you guys communicate open tickets and stuff is very awesome too. Like, I can just text my account representative, which is Erica, or I can also just email you guys, or I can also just hop in the meeting, like whatever way works for me, Uh,
Yeah.
I like how you guys are open to like whatever the customer is easy for them.
Yeah, we
Like
just try to think about like how do we want support? Sometimes we're in the mood for a Zoom, sometimes it's faster with a ticket. It just depends time of day, if we're hungry, not hungry. So I kind of look at it from like what support would I want personally and then make that happen for other customers just to kind of different channels for different people, especially with like a global economy, if you will. People can buy this from like you can have a client in Romania if you wanted to sell the same offer and systems as well. So it kind of helps not just locally in the US and Canada, but also globally for different time zones. Well, let's dive into some wins because I know like people get energy when they see other people like doing really, really well. Because I know you mentioned last week, which was remarkable, that we kind of brushed over 40 clients onboarded in a single week. That's incredible. But like what would you highlight since using Thinker? What are some wins that really stand out to you the most that you're most proud of so far?
for sure, man. The biggest one we've had, right? So we got Thinker around like a month ago.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest wins that we've had is on the first asset that we were pilot testing under Thinker. Again, this is going back to the leasing and properties and stuff. But the whole goal for this voice AI was to be AI leasing specialist. So, like if you want an apartment, 100% of the times you're going to call the phone number on Google. Now, the sad thing about calling apartments is they never answer. I don't know if you guys have ever
Oh yeah.
experienced,
Oh
but
yeah.
when
Like you go by any building out here, commercial, retail, apartment, they're not answering the phone at all.
yeah, they literally never ever answer.
Yeah.
All the AI did was just answer the incoming calls and pretty much schedule a tour for those people. And then another really cool feature in Thinkrr is outbound calls, right? You're not limited to only inbound, you can also call outbound. So a lot of our clients, they have thousands and thousands of records of inbound calls they've received that they've never called back. They also have thousands of records of forms that people have submitted on their apartment websites that never got reached out to. So we went and we pulled all that data. We made an outbound agent and we had the agent call those leads. Last month, the agent made around 4,000 calls,
Hmm.
out of which it got, I think, sort of blanking out, but it got a decent, the pickup rate was around like 20%. So that was a strong pickup rate. And one small thing we do, man, that I want to share with the community too that can really help improve your pickup rate is just text them before you call them.
Hmm.
No, right? Like we just text people saying, "Hey, I saw you were looking for an apartment. You had reached out to us. My name is Marissa." Oh, that's
Hmm.
my favorite voice. My name is Marissa, and I'm gonna call you in 2 minutes. What that does is number one, if they have an iPhone, it doesn't say a number is calling. It says maybe Marissa is calling.
Yeah.
So that's win number one on that. And then another thing is it doesn't show up as scam like. Now, obviously, you have to refresh your numbers, uh,
Right.
but that's how you can really get past that. But now here's the juicy part. Out of those 3,000 calls, 128 people turned into hot leads. Out of 128 hot leads, 44 appointments were scheduled. This is all in the span of not even 30 days, like 25 days. Out of 44 appointments, 30-ish appointments showed up. And out of those 30 appointments, 18 converted.
Oh
All
shit.
18 of those conversions signed a 12-month lease. So, and each lease had a minimum value of around 2,000. Some were a little higher, some were lower on the $2,000 end, some were on the $3,000 end. But if you do that by revenue generated, it was coming out to $366,000 generated from that one campaign of 4,000 outbound calls.
So is that cash flow to the company or total lease value off of the 18 converted for 12-month lease?
So it's we calculated it based off what their monthly rent is
Right. Okay.
and how long their lease term is, which in this case, all of them were 12 months.
Now
Uh,
let's just say you don't meet this person, you don't run that campaign. Who does that work that AI just did?
the leasing team.
Right, but like, well, who in the leasing team? Is it no one or someone? Because it sounds like these are old leads.
Yeah, so no one did it. So
Yeah.
they literally had, and even right now, right, they have a lot of data. This is just like the small data pool we did so that we could run a test and see what happens. But they've got like 20, 30, 40,000 contacts in each asset that expressed interest and never got reached out to.
Isn't that crazy just to think that such smart people, I mean, these are rich people, right? They own buildings, right? They're going to be wealthy. Like what are the like they put so much energy into like not to diminish anything. Their MBAs, I assume, went to great schools, I imagine. But then they have a great operating team, I'm guessing, because they have the data. But the number one thing that moves the needle, they didn't solve for, which is call the leads.
Yep. And that's what so many people make that mistake, man. Like it blows my mind, right? And another thing that uh people don't capitalize on is like incoming leads. Especially right now, like we're all psychology sort of based, and the culture right now is you move on to things very quick. Like your mind
Mhm.
shifts its attention to somewhere else very quickly. And we ran a test where we analyzed, okay, if someone submits a Facebook form or any form on any paid ad, let's not call them for a day.
Mm-hmm.
And let's have that's group A. And then for group B, let's call them within 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, everyone that we called in 30 seconds led to something, either an appointment, a conversation, data collected, added them to the funnel. However, everyone that we called a day later either turned into pretty much nothing. They didn't answer the phone, they were not interested. And it just goes to show you, right? Like speed to lead is really important.
Oh yeah.
One of the coolest things about voice AI is the speed to lead is immediate. Like it literally immediate. So while they're feeling whatever they're feeling, you can get the information you need and push them to the place where they need to go before they like lose their interest, you know?
Yeah, the like you're exactly right. 30 to 60 seconds will increase the probability of a conversion by 391%. So there's a stat for you guys to use. And if you're the end business owner or whatever you do, dentistry, property management, real estate mogul, it doesn't really matter. The speed to lead is key. The humans can't do it. That's just a fact. Call a spade a spade. Nobody's staring at a computer, at a phone, and a text message. 24 by 7 where AI should be doing that job, not just the human. The human should do more stuff that are better suited for them. Me personally, like we're not trying to replace the humans. We're trying to give our companies the best probability of winning so we can hire more people, right? So we can keep somebody more sustainable and hire better people and pay them more over time. So it has this domino effect with simple tweaks. You wouldn't think so. Could you spend X dollars to do the most important work for a business? Yeah, I mean you can now, and it's already, no offense to people or whoever's watching this, you personally or people you've hired, this will be better than that. You just got to try it out because then you save time, money, and make reduce costs, and that's kind of like the mecca of a business is to save our time, make more money, and reduce costs all at the same time. It's a win all around. It's kind of like a three-peat championship, if you will. Now, moving into an aha moment, because everybody sometimes has this. You may have had it before because you're obviously more sophisticated on AI and adapted a long time ago, relative to how new it is, right? But was there like an aha moment when you joined Thinker and you're like, oh, damn, this is going to work for us?
Yeah, man, when I saw the revenue generated from one asset just off of 4,000 calls, I was like, okay, let's get this show on the road. Um,
Right.
immediately when we shared that report with our client too, um, we had the CEO personally call us, and he was like, "Look, I don't know what you're doing. I don't care what anyone is working with you on, but I need all of my assets live on this system yesterday." I was like, "Look, I'll get it done for you. Don't worry." And I was like, man, thank God, thank God I've got the scaling power with the tools I'm using now to be able to do that.
Right. No, and then it can be instant. Is that where the 40 onboardings came from last week?
Yeah, all 40 of those came from there. And we're my team is literally working on it right now. Uh,
Yeah.
they're working on getting the pipelines and the stages and everything set up, as well as putting the data in there and then adding the leasing team to the accounts that they belong in. But yeah, it's super exciting, man. It's really cool to see the tool you guys have built as well. It's made my life a lot easier. This whole thing became something I don't have to worry about anymore. And I like how communicative you guys are, how helpful you guys are. Some companies, like you're always a little scared where you're like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen with this or with XYZ. But with you guys, well, I do know why, but I really have confidence within the company. So I'm not like scared that something's gonna stop working, or if I face a problem, I'll have nowhere to go for help or any of those things because whenever something comes up, and I take it to, usually my go-to guy has been Ahmed. So I'm gonna hype him up over here. He's super awesome. But whenever I need help, I just look for Ahmed. I'm like, hey, where's Ahmed?
Nice.
And he's super quick, man. He's we were talking about speed to lead, right? That guy knows he's immediate. He'll get me whatever I need pretty quick, help me troubleshoot my problems, and pretty much get me back up and running within like 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, yeah, shout out to the Thinker support team. These guys do like a lot of work, sometimes thankless work in the background, but then the end result is like happy customers, just like Ramiz and all you guys. Just leverage that. That's how you stay with the product longer. But then it's a win-win all across because like you keep the subscription, we obviously win on the subscription, but the bigger picture is like you can make a whole business off this without complexities and solve a lot of problems like Ramiz is doing with his property managers because look at what we just went over on one case study: 4,000 calls, 20% pickup rate, 128 turned into leads, 44 appointments booked. It's been approximately 25 days since using Thinker. 30 of those 44 leads showed up. 18 converted into 12-month leases, producing approximately 366,000 in revenue. And then it led to onboarding the rest of the portfolio, which you should be having your hands full with your team. So there's a summary. So the
Oh
back
yeah.
end team is definitely our saving grace from us because like on the marketing sales, obviously we pump in as a bunch of people that buy their subscriptions and get the white glove service from us, and then the real experience is adaption from the customer. Sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's ours, sometimes it's a combination. But at the end of the day, it's just collaborative effort to have a common goal.
Oh yeah, 100%. And businessman is like a partnership, right? So
Yeah,
I always like to say, whoever you work with, show them respect,
sure.
work with them, and build up a good relationship. It goes a very, very long way.
Definitely. Now, how has reselling Thinker impacted the revenue or even the client satisfaction that you have? I kind of have a vibe, but I want the audience to hear it from your mouth.
Yeah, for sure, man. We make a lot more money on calls than
Hmm.
we do from charging people retainers and so on. And the reason we do that is, we just believe that generating value generates more value.
Yep.
And like you were saying, being on the phone is how, as a business, you generate the most value. Texting and email is all cool, but there's just something about a phone call that you can't change right now.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's been great, man. We've been able to pretty much almost double our revenue because we can make a lot more calls now.
That's
Um,
huge.
because things aren't crashing, right? Before we'd make like a certain amount of calls every day. Someone's account, the AI was putting the leads in the wrong stage. In another account, the AI forgot to add the notes. In another account, the AI sending the wrong address. So it's
Uh,
like you have all these fires and things to work on, so scaling becomes very hard. Versus right now, everything works smoothly how we want. We can copy paste and duplicate snapshots very easily, move them across different accounts. And it becomes a thing where pretty much it's all copy paste. All you got to do is just change the script,
hmm
make that, personalized to the business. And then also obviously knowledge bases are super important. That sort of sets how smart your voice AI will be when it's on the phone. But for most of the part, we keep our knowledge base a little similar. We love Alex Hormozy. So all of our AIs are trained on Mr. Hormozy. He is one of the goat people of selling and closing.
Yep.
Um,
Nothing wrong with
trained
that.
on him. Uh,
Totally.
but it's been great. It's been awesome.
Like how do you usually introduce Thinker when you're approaching your clients so that they see value right away?
I let the value essentially create itself in one extent, right? Where with this client, for example, I called like three of their properties every day, uh, two times every day.
Hmm.
And no one ever answered. So I logged everything and then I went to them and I was like, imagine you're getting two calls at minimum every day that are ready to move in today, but nobody's answering the phone. You're losing $4,000 a day. Do 4,000 times 30. That's how much you're losing a month. And that's at minimum. And if it's a 12-month lease, do 4 times 12 times 30 then, and look how much you're missing out on. And then I usually don't even ask people if they want me to make them a voice AI. I just make it and I send them the number. I'm like, hey, call this number. And they call it and they talk to it. And I never put in when I make them call it, I don't put in the script that it's AI so it doesn't tell the client.
Hmm.
Because I want to see, will the client be able to figure out or will they be
Hmm.
able to figure out?
It's a good way to do it. Yeah.
And then it's sort of like I like to frame it like a magic trick. That's what voice AI is right now. It's like a magic trick where you can show it to them. You can then, you know, like what I usually do is like, let's say you were my client, I'd be like, in a meeting with you, I'd be like, hey, Rahul, can you call this number for me? I want you to let me know what you think about a conversation you're just going to have right now. And then you call the number, or I'll just have it call you, right? Whatever. And then I start sharing my screen and I show them in real time how it's changing the stages, how it's adding the tags, how it's adding the notes, how it's filling the custom field. And then I go and I show them that it only costs whatever people want to charge on a minute basis, that's what it costs. Then it just sells itself. That's the type of system I want to personally build where I'm not selling the system. The system is so good that it just sells itself. All I need to do is let you see it.
Right.
And going
Was
back to
this,
the magic
sorry to cut
trick,
you off there, but was this, so your approach was call a bunch of times, log it, show them that they've just potentially lost a lot of money, 2,000, 4,000 a day times 30 days times 12, etc. And then just, this was a straight cold approach.
yeah, yeah. So
Wait.
this particular client, they were working with us not for AI voice. They just wanted us to manage a few of their leads and send out some SMS and promotions and stuff. But then I realized that, there's a lot more money and value to be created for them as well as for me on this voice AI side. So I literally just in one of our meetings that we were having with them, I just did what I told you, how I did it. They were like, wow. They were like, how did all this happen? And I was like, this is something we've built and I'd love to test it out on this account. And if it works, then we can talk about putting it on your other properties.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. So how many total, like you, so in the short month, like you started, was it 25 or 30 days ago with Thinker?
I think it was like 25 because I haven't been charged again yet. So
Okay. So you're still in your first month. All right.
yeah, yeah.
You should upgrade to the annual whenever that's appropriate with Erica before any price changes coming up. But anyways, in any event, what like how many total customers or how many total sub accounts are you leveraging right now for your business?
So to be honest, man, right now around like 50. So it's 40 including them, 10 including other clients. And if I'm being honest, I've been like off of sale mode and marketing mode. And most probably this whole month, we're not going to be doing any marketing. Number one, I'm going on vacation, so I'm gonna be a little tied up. And then also because we're starting to niche down a little bit now. In the past 2, 3 years, we've sort of been providing voice AI to everyone. It was on purpose because we were like, let's do it for everybody, see where we can find essentially a home market, and
Hmm.
then we're gonna stick to that market. I really like the AI leasing space because I feel like this tool and the whole system that we've built really adds a lot of value inside it.
Right.
So we're actually working to redo a lot of our marketing right now. And end of this month, we'll start marketing again, but it's going to be specifically for property managers and multifamily owners with more than 10,000 units. Another really cool thing the AI is doing, man, is it's doing renewals and delinquency.
Yeah,
So when
that
people
use
have
case too.
renewals coming up, and again, that's the job of the property staff to call people and let them know, hey, your renewal's coming up in a month. Can you come down to the office and, let's get this renewal going, get your new contract agreement signed, and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, here's an idea. If you get in touch with Appfolio, who is a software, and we can integrate Thinker into that, we'll partner with you guys on that.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, because I know
I'll
friends
really
that work there at Appfolio. Now, going into what you like the most, so like, what's your favorite feature or part of using Thinker?
how easy it is to set up and use, to be honest. It's super easy, to integrate, to set up, to get it going. So I would say that honestly is my favorite thing. And also the support. I really, really enjoy your guys' support teams. I've had a bunch of products I've worked on in the past, and I'm not saying Thinker is not a big company, but some like big companies like Twilio and N8N, it's very hard to get attention from these folks in the sense of I need help, can you help me? And you have to go and learn it from like YouTube and the internet and ChatGPT versus with Thinker, I really like how close the community is. There's a lot of people within the space that talk to each other and help each other out. And on top of that, you guys have a really good support team that's always available and super helpful.
Yeah, it's unique to have like a good dev team. And by the way, there's some new stuff that's coming out though. Like once it rolls out, I don't want to give it away too early, but everyone's gonna love what we got going on. So there's some new shit coming out. It's gonna be sick.
I
I'm
did have a quick question, Rahul. Are you guys going to be integrating with other CRMs anytime soon?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're looking at Jobber, HubSpot, Salesforce, and a whole multitude of them. We've already integrated with independent pharmacy CRMs. Right now, you can do HubSpot through Make, but we're going to be building natively into there. But yeah, we have a big list that's coming out.
Okay, so we can do HubSpot.
Like we can do, there's patches around it via Make. As far as a native integration, are we officially going to be in their marketplace? Not just yet, but it's coming very, very soon. I'd say like 30 to 45 days out. Yeah, so hold off of like
Yes.
just talk,
Dude.
come to support and like Andrew or Mohan or Thursday's call, ask if you come to it, ask on that to Mohan directly. He'll give you a clearer picture. But I have a client that I personally brought on from my network who's actually, he's in the real estate contractor space. And they've leveraged Thinkrr in their HubSpot. It was a bunch of work via Make. But now we've learned quite a bit about the integrations. But yeah, we're going to be working with HubSpot.
So I have a very, very, very big potential client. And the biggest thing that was making me nervous, again, I looked into the whole make and end side of being able to make it work, and my team was able to figure some stuff out. But when it's not direct, there's always concerns for me. Man, that would be awesome for me. This is a pretty big client. They're on the stock market too. They've got around 30-40 billion dollars they're doing in revenue. I can't really talk about it, but it's like a household name.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the biggest contingencies for us working with them is they wanted to stay on their HubSpot because when you're such a big company, you don't want to move.
Yeah, no, it makes
Yeah.
sense. We'll be able to, you can start those conversations now just to kind of inch in, because you'll have to be talking to security, IT, the VC companies will get involved. Like not like all overly involved, but they're going to want to know due diligence, they're going to know compliance, security, all that stuff. You can get that conversation out of the way early if you want to start it, because it'll probably, I imagine, with people going on vacation and whatnot, it's a 1 to 3 month sales cycle on something that big.
Oh,
It could be longer, maybe early next year, but having that conversation now is really good because then they're budgeting for 2026 or Q1, however they do their budget cycles. It's always good to get into a budget cycle early. And then also, if they've already kind of pre-made budgets or whatnot, then give them ideas. How do we borrow it against a different department or a future quarter, so that they can start something now, right? So I've done those conversations before just to get people thinking because they want something, but then they use a P&L as like their like, oh, well, we can't do it because these words on this paper says it. But then once we get them thinking, then they'll start to get creative and borrow budgets against thing, increase the budget, etc. But sometimes we just got to prompt those ideas. Now, because I mean, I don't even know how to, like, you're not even a veteran, but you're a veteran because of your AI background. But I was thinking Thinker, 25 days on the platform, going very, very well, 50 accounts onboarded, results already, and upsold, or in this case, you didn't upsell the clients so infatuated with your results that they want to incorporate it all across the board. Now, what advice would you give somebody just starting to resell and partner with Thinker?
the best advice I give, man, is something I wish I had sort of learned earlier on the voice AI side, and also something I've seen, right? There's a lot more money in volume than there is in an account. So you want people that have high volume of inbound calls and they have high volume that they need for to make to opt it in data, right? Um, and also, another super important thing I would say is you want to set yourself up in a way where your product is adding the most possible value and revenue to whoever you're working with. Like, let's say you're working with a shop that's doing brake checks, and that guy only makes like $50 on every brake check. So it's gonna be hard for him to cut you $5-10 out of every break check he's doing, right? But if you work with someone, and we can even use the health industry for an example. But if you're working with a health clinic and their minimum value that they get from every client is around 3 to 4 thousand, or even 500, um, they'll be a lot more comfortable cutting you that $5 to $10 than someone who's only making $50 on it. So try to position yourself in a space where the clients you're working with have high ticket, and they have high profit, That way, your piece of the pie is a lot easier to get.
Oh yeah. Now, like if somebody was on the fence, let's say skepticism's coming in, they see Thinker, like what would you tell that person that has like this, like, I don't know, should I do it, should I not, but they know they need it? What would you tell that person about Thinker?
I mean, if you want to be in business, man, you got to learn how to get over your fears. So I always like to say, fear is just an illusion. There's no point of being scared of anything. You never know until you try. And mind my language, but there's this code, right? F around and find out. So that's what I would say. And it's been a great tool for me. They're not paying me or just telling me to do any of this. I'm just talking about it out of my personal experience and also because, I want people to know it's a great tool and it would really help you leverage your business and your systems and the most important thing, drive results for your clients. The AI itself is also very good. Sounds very nice. Great voice options. And the cool thing is you guys are continually making it better. So, in just the last 25 days I've been here, I've seen a bunch of cool updates that you guys have done. I just got an email this morning that, hey, you don't even need to make the script anymore. You can just talk to the inbound AI and it makes the script by talking to you. So,
Gotta
things
jump
are
in and tell me what you think about that. Build an inbound agent. You can click on Copilot. It'll actually just interview you in a matter of like 3 minutes and create your whole inbound script all done with voice.
Now that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. But yeah, those things are awesome. Obviously, man, every tool, everything has, its own things that you have to work around. But with Thinker, the number of that is very low. So a lot of the things have been solved for and they perform very well.
Oh yeah, well, thank you so much, Ramiz, for sharing your story and all these amazing tips. Like I love seeing like the results you're getting and the simplicity behind it. So that's remarkable. And also most importantly, like how you're helping all these business owner clients that you're helping so much leverage voice AI so they can monetize any possible like leaks in their bucket because we're turning like all this trash and leads back into cash for all these business owners. So anybody out there watching this, if you're ready to see how Thinker can work for you, just check out Thinker. It's thinkrr.ai, thinker.ai. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Special thanks to Ramiz.
Yeah, thank you guys.